Hey gang, in this video we're going to take a look at 3 levels of questions you can ask students. So sometimes when we learn something and we learn it really well, it's easy for us to just think, oh, this is a graph, this is a display, I know a lot about it. But when we really dig into it, we can see there's different levels of questions you can ask students. So the first level here is reading the data. The second is reading between the data, and the third is reading beyond the data. Just reading the data is just a literal reading of the graph. You just look and you answer the question. Reading between the data is going to require some interpretation, either comparison or other math concepts or skills involved. And reading beyond is going to require prediction or infer. And so students are going to have to make conclusion about information that's not present in the graph. Let me use this as a context. So this is from class activity 15F. I would encourage you to take a look, pause the video, complete it, and then come back and listen. So in this setup, there's a box with 100 small square tiles in it. Some of them are yellow, some of them are blue. Students draw 10 tiles out. They count how many yellow tiles there are, and then they put the tiles back in the box. Each student does this in the class for all 30 students, and then they make a dot plot with their data. So here, this student drew out 2 yellow tiles. The rest were blue. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 students all drew out 6 yellow tiles, and the rest were blue. So if I'm going to ask a read the data question, that might be a question like, how many times were 5 yellow tiles drawn? It's a matter of just looking at the chart, understanding the chart, seeing that there's 7 in this row. The answer is 7. We also look a little closer at the data. And so let's look at the next one, read between the data. In the read between the data, they're going to have to do some sort of comparison or some sort of math to get the answer. So question there might be, what occurred more, drawing 5 yellow tiles or 7 yellow tiles? And there they're going to have to do a comparison and say, okay, there was more in this one than this one, so it's 5. Or another read between the data is, how often were more than 7 yellow tiles drawn? And so they're going to have to look here and see and combine these, addition, or maybe just counting. This would be a lower level read between, but it would still be read between because there's interpretation involved. Read beyond the data would be, okay, in this case there were 3 students, so 3 out of 30 students drew 4 yellow tiles. What if we had 60 students? How many would you expect to draw yellow tiles? That would be a read beyond. Or how many yellow tiles are there altogether in the 100? That would be a read beyond the data. And so just beware when you're asking students question, there are these, we can just say, oh, I know this, some of these are harder, some of these are easier, but there's really different skills involved. One is just reading the graph. Second is doing a comparison or a mathematical skill or concept. And the third then really involves prediction or inferring.